The harder you work for something, the greater you feel when you achieve. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is me, Roosh Tahir, and I am hosting today's Welcome Talkshow. I am doing good, and I hope you also are. Today, we are here with another ex-Welkinian, shining star, Sayyid Muskan Shafiq. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Aruj.
First of all, thanks for joining us. Muskan,
Thank you for having me.
Muskan, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyid Muskan Shafiq and I'm an ex-Welkinian. I was in Welkin from my class 4th and then I continued studying in Welkin up until my 12th when I did my senior secondary from Welkin. And currently I'm pursuing my honors in journalism, BA honors in journalism from Institute of Home Economics, which is an affiliated college to the University of Delhi. And I have also recently been to Japan for one of the international exchange programs wherein I made a documentary. Basically, I made 2 documentaries which were showcased in Japan. And I've also worked with, as an intern, I worked with the Rising Kashmir and the Kashmiriyat in Kashmir. And apart from that, I have also worked with Prasar Bharati Archives for one of their projects on the International Dawn Chorus Day. I think that's pretty much about me.
Wow, that's great. Now that you have introduced yourself, could you please throw some light on your journey, like how it all started? Was becoming journalist your dream, or was it by chance?
Well, if I talk about myself, being a journalist was always a dream. It is my childhood dream, and I think I'm working on it and pursuing it right now. I still feel like there is a lot that is there and that I have to achieve because I'm still in my graduation. My graduation is not yet complete. But yes, if I talk about my journey, journalism has always been a dream. It's been an obsession for me. Like I always saw people, journalists on TV reporting, and I always would read some articles and I would get fascinated. I remember by reading different articles and looking at different journalists, be it on television or be it listening to radio sometimes. I was always fascinated by these things. So in my school life, like when I was in Welkin, in my school life, I was so much into all this that I was in public speaking. I was a part of the co-curricular activities back then. So all that was seemed very happening to me. And if I talk about journalism, it's been there with me, like I told you, since childhood. So yes, it was a dream for me to be a journalist and I am working on it right now. And there has been a lot, like if I talk about my journey, as you said, there's been a lot that has come through, like that is there. Like for example, in my class 11, I wanted to study in Jamia Millia Islamia or AMU, Aligarh Muslim University, and I gave an entrance for both of the universities. Basically, that was for my senior secondary, and luckily I had done my registration in Welkin because I wanted to continue studying in Welkin. And at that point of time, I got selected for both the universities, Jamia Millia Islamia as well and Aligarh Muslim University as well. So I got my admission in Jamia Millia, but then due to some health issues or maybe due to some other issues, I had to come back. And just after a week of my admission, I had to come back to my school. Like I had to come back to Welkin.
That's incredible. If you don't mind, can I ask you the reason of coming back and did that affect you?
Yes, like if I talk about the reason of coming back to Kashmir or maybe back to home, it was basically majorly I could not adjust. I was back then I would say a kid because like I was just done with my 10th standard and I was into like I was just stepping into the senior secondary. So I was a child, I think, and more than that, I could not adjust myself. There were a lot of things that I found were very different from Welkin, so I could not adjust. I had to come back. When you go back and there are a lot of things, a lot of people are there who tell you different things. Why did you come back? You wasted a lot of money of your parents. You should have not done it. A lot of ifs are there when you do some mistake, but definitely, and Alhamdulillah, my parents were always there to support me. It affected me up to a level where I felt like I was falling into anxiety. I would not call that a depression or something like that. A lot of things were going on, as I told you, like a lot of ifs were there in my life. But with the support of my family, my parents, especially my mom, my dad, and my sisters and my brother, I was able to overcome it. And then, yeah, everything is fine now.
Okay. Is there any memory which would you like to share with us?
Memory, as in of Welkin?
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah. So if I talk about Welkin, there is every day was a memory for me, and I remember every day of my life in Welkin, because definitely my skills, everything that I learned today, it's possible because I think I was a Welkinian, and there is a phrase that goes like sharpen your X. So I think that is possible for me these days only because I was in Welkin, and there was a lot of attention that was put on me and other students as well at the same time, and we were taught a lot of different things. So for me, if I talk about Welkin, whenever I talk about Welkin, it takes me back to all the things that I learned in Welkin. Be it debating, I learned it in Welkin. Be it public speaking, I learned it in Welkin, and especially the confidence of public speaking. So I would say when I talk about Welkin, or I would say when I talk about Welkin, and when I remember, like whenever I talk about Welkin, what comes to my mind is how I was, there, speaker, anchor, and anchoring and speaking. This was something that would always fascinate me. So
Like
these
when
things,
you
and even debating.
Okay. Like when you discuss Welkin with your friends today, what are the memories you share with them?
Look, I'm somebody who is more into professional things. Like I love making formal bonds with people in comparison to the informal bonds. So in Welkin, I've learned one thing, that we were taken to different workshops, we were taken to different places where we had different. We were exposed to different activities. For example, this was that happened for the first time in Welkin, I guess, when some of us were taken to Jammu for a debate, and that was an interstate debate competition. At that particular point of time, when I was just in ninth and getting exposed to something very big, that was something very big in my life. I think I talk about these things with my friends. I even talk about like how we were taken to the workshop of Dr. MS Kuru. I remember, if I remember the name correctly, and how different personalities were in our school, like invited to our school and attending lectures of those personalities. And this is something that I talk when I am in formal mode. But when I am in my informal mode, I would say it was running from Bashir block to Ahad block to attend classes on time.
Is that how did schooling help you in developing your personality?
Well, if I talk about schooling, as I said, like there's been a lot going on in life right now. A lot, as in we get to learn a lot of new things. We get exposed to a lot of new opportunities, new activities. So everything is helping me at this point of time. But I would say I have a very strong base. Maybe, matlab, alhamdulillah, I have a very strong base in comparison to my friends. As in, like when I see my friends and myself, I think I'm ready to learn and I'm ready to explore things. I'm ready to accept deadlines. Even if I'm given a call at maybe 10 a.m. and I'm asked to submit an article or anything at 10:15 or 10:30, I'm ready for that because this has happened to me in school as well. Like I remember once Sadaf ma'am would call me at 11:30 in the night and tell me we have a speech tomorrow and it is going to be held tomorrow. I remember the topic is Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and we have to do it. And that too, the competition was held in our school only. So at that point of time, I was like, okay, ma'am, because I have to do it. My teachers knew that I wanted to go in this field only. So Sadaf ma'am would tell me, I said, yes, ma'am, I'll do it. The next morning, we had this speech at 10 a.m. and there were almost, I think, 93 schools that were competing. 93 schools, but yes, some of them were absent. There were only a few, up to 20 to 25 schools that were present. So we won. Like Welkin won Welkin won the first position. So for me, that thing is very much important because Welkin prepared me for different. Welkin prepared me, I would say, for almost everything, like acceptance of challenge, acceptance of failures, acceptance of success sometimes, acceptance of achievements, and even the acceptance to learn the new things. And I think, yeah, Welkin really has a very, very huge influence on my life. And with huge, and this is something, a very genuine fact, that Welkin made me learn a lot of things. If I talk about my confidence, if I talk about my public speaking, I owe it to Welkin.
Your journey is definitely interesting. Thanks for joining us. It was honor to have you here. It was all about today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.